and that would be fine if they want to stay afloat. But in America today, because these businesses go under, a lot of times they're given these taxes, which all comes back to the people. So our tax dollars are being used to spend and to invest to pay for the mistakes of these huge corporations. And the reason that it's still legal is because they have all this money to invest into the political scheme. In 2010, the Supreme Court heard a case regarding the Bipartisan Campaign Reform Act, which was a miracle that it got passed in Congress, but it was actually championed by Senator John McCain. So it's not a partisan issue. It's championed by Senator McCain and signed into law by President Bush in 2003. And this was common sense measures to make sure that huge businesses don't have such an influence in a democracy. It didn't completely outlaw businesses' right to invest in candidates that they support, but it put common sense limits on that. And in 2010 and then in 2014, in another case called McCutcheon v. FEC, the Supreme Court has struck down all forms of them congressionally enacted laws and state laws, in fact, as well, that would limit campaign contributions. Michigan has always had a policy of the state has always recognized the problem of money in politics. We were actually brought to the Supreme Court in the 1970s, and at that point our state laws were upheld that allowed states to limit the amount of corporate influence. So what's really at question with this Supreme Court case is the issue of states' rights and whether or not states and then their representatives in Congress should or shouldn't be able to limit the corrupting influence of money in politics. I believe that they should be able to put common sense limits on it. No one's outlawing super PACs and unions' right to influence anything in politics, but there are common sense measures that today, because of the standards set by the Supreme Court, all of those would be considered unconstitutional. So this is about the grassroots level making an amendment. 16 states already called for a resolution. You need 33 for the Congress to actually be required to do anything about it. And again, Michigan was on the books with having similar laws to this in years past, which were then overturned and struck down in 2010. So
I want you to wrap up your speech here.
Yeah, it's about, so I'm trying to get municipalities to make a resolution that will make their state representatives, so sending it to Robert Hewlin and Senator McGregor, and tell them to move on the action of making a statewide resolution to overturn this Supreme Court decision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Thank you much. Very enlightening. We have requested to have it come back next month with some more input. We are basically wondering if, because of our charter, we stay bipartisan, and we're getting a definite nonpartisan. So, in effect, we can't take a side, but yet we will do something. Okay?
Well, municipalities in Michigan are allowed to. Not the partisan part, but Ingham County, which
our
is
charter. See, we're going off what our charter speaks to.
Oh, okay.
Our charter is specific on certain languages. So we just want to make sure we're okay with that, with our charter, before we make any motions or decisions.
We can't take a partisan position.
Correct.
Okay.
According to our charter.
Yeah. So we will next month. Okay?
All right.
And thank you for coming down. Mrs. Christensen, I believe we're here at the manager's report time.
Well, in order to give you brevity, my report's in the packet. There isn't anything spectacular in it because I was pretty much involved with the election. But I just wanted to touch on the election. I was really happy that my last election for Cedar Springs turned out to be so great. 27.5% of our registered voters came out to vote. Ran out of applications, almost ran out of ballots. It was just a mind-boggling day to see the people coming in to vote. I didn't in a million years think that it was going to be that busy of a election. And I was basing that on the amount of AVs that I had out, which was just a typical amount. So it was a pretty exciting day.
And a long one.
And I was very proud of Cedar Springs because they voted for Ted Cruz. He came in first on the Republican side. Donald Trump came in second. And Bernie Sanders beat Hillary in Cedar Springs also.
Really?
So that was kind of interesting.
I think that was a big upset in the whole state that Bernie pulled off. So
Yep, it was very interesting.
that is the democratic process.
Yeah, the numbers, that was, as a stats geek, that was sort of exciting to watch.
That was an upset, though.
Oh, it was? No, it was. She was supposed to win 20-1.
Moving on.
I mean, that's the math. And I'm not saying as a personal, that was the math. And then statistically, it flipped. Like, this is like Dewey beats Truman.
We don't care. Okay, thank you.
Fair enough.
Moving on.
The other important thing was that you have set your date for your special meeting to go over your resumes. And as of today, 15 resumes have been turned in. And she hasn't, of course, reviewed any of them yet. And she said a lot of them will still come in closer to the deadline.
Yeah.
Other
Great.
than that, I don't really have anything.
Just a reminder to fellow council members that you know, the date that we have set, you know, kind of pencil that out, the 21st of April.
We're
And
saying
then-
tentatively 6 p.m.?
I can tell her that, and then I'll get back with you.
Yeah.
with the exact
She'll let us know what
That
works
work
for
for you,
her.
Carrie?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we may want to make sure you have other dates set aside in case we have to call another special meeting for,
We will have to do your interview, you'll have to set dates for interviews.
Correct.
Right.
and hopefully we'll get a good candidate in here. Any other?
Other than, I had a conversation with a council member a couple weeks ago. This person asked me if it was still my intention to retire, and if so, when was I going to do that? And I have set a July 1st date as to when I will be retiring.
Okay.
We'll see. Anyway,
So I'm just like my election workers, going 30
He
days.
may shackle you to desk. Super glue.
any questions of any of the department reports?
Just congratulations on not running out of ballots.
Yeah.
Lots of places did.
Mhm.
So I was really proud of Cedar Springs that
You did well.
it went really smoothly and we didn't run out of ballots and that people had.
I do not want that TV camera in my face.
I don't know.
I'm with you. When I saw that coming up on my feed, I was like, oh, please don't let it be us. So I'm really glad it wasn't. So
Okay.
props to you all and however you did your math that got you to that place that we had the right amount of ballots.
It's a lucky guess.
Yeah. We have no report from municipal, our new one, co-drivers.
I just this week received our first report from them, so they now know when I need it, and you'll be getting it regularly from now on.
I can remember missing that deadline.
I can remember haranguing you about your deadlines too.
Any boards and commissions, the planning commission minutes in this, the one that I stood corrected on that, Mr. Hopkins has seconded that. And then the zoning board of appeals, they're doing things. And the Cedar Springs Library Board.
I just like to say, having read it, that I'm really excited that the library's been approved.
Okay.
There should be a shovel in the ground
Is,
sometime soon.
May.
May.
Mr. Beatty stopped and asked me what agreement needed to be drafted or whatever to submit with the building permit, to apply for a building permit. There was in Mr. Aventini's report that there was a
We need an agreement between, the CBDT and the library.
Correct. Do we,
That's what we're waiting for.
okay, we don't have one yet. Okay,
They drafted it, I haven't received a copy.
okay. That was my question. I don't recall seeing or hearing of one, and then I heard there was one, but that's up
I
to
know that they
them.
were working on it, but I don't know where we're at.
Okay.
It's up to them to produce, I
But
guess.
nothing else on our part.
No.
Okay, moving on to council comments. Mr. Clark.
This is what I wanted to say earlier, regarding
Sorry.
our city website. I have noticed, I know we're getting a new one, I'm not exactly sure when that's going to come online, but I've noticed that out of all of the councilors, only 2 of us have pictures and some sort of resume there for the public to see. So I would encourage all of us, if you don't have something in there.
How do we go about doing that?
Just get it, write it, if you wanna do a little bio, we can take your picture. If you have a picture, we can use that too.
Okay.
You know.
I didn't even know, I didn't know we were submitting that.
I sent numerous emails out over the.
Okay.
Mid-Long.
Okay. I must have missed that. Oh, it's in the city email.
Correct.
Okay, I've never been able to get in my city email.
Well,
And maybe when I did send them out, it was going to your city emails.
Yeah, I have never ever once gotten into my city email. Like, it does not work.
Well, moving on, you can next.
Well, but I'm just saying, if she's sending stuff to the city
Mrs.
email
Paul.
and not getting any,
Okay, I want to tell you all, I had a delightful time at the Friends of Skinner Field meeting, and they're really busting butt, and people are bringing in donations, and their blood, sweat, and tears to get that in shape, and their first year, I believe, was very successful, and they learned a lot, and they're going to make a lot of progress this year. So I think it was a good move for us to lease that to them, and hopefully it carries on. And Linda, congratulations if you've made your decision. And I don't know how it's going to work, but hopefully you can hang in there and help us get our new city clerk and manager
well,
on the
but city clerk,
right track.
we gotta train somebody.
Congratulations, and we'll have to have a party.
Yeah.
You're gonna have one.
I feel like there's some cake shop.
Turn some beer into water.
Yeah,
We'll have to
any-
let Linda open a tab and we'll just,
Any other comments, Ms.?
no, that's it.
All right, Ms. Conley, you're up, and then your emails. How's that?
That's fine. I think I've said that my city email doesn't work.
Mine doesn't either.
I use my Gmail, and if anybody is still sending anything to my city email account, I've never ever once had it open. So don't send it there. Send it to
This
my.
was a long time ago, Pam, so.
Okay. So just send stuff to my Gmail, because that's where I get it. So that's how I did not know that was a request, but that can be made to happen. Just thank you for making the election work. Thank you for fixing the truck. Thank you for telling us how much money we got so we can figure out our water. And I'm just really glad we live in a place where the water is safe to drink, and the police show up, and the fire department shows up, and I'm grateful every single day that I wake up in Cedar Springs with all the wonderful people here who do all the wonderful stuff that they do.
Thank you. Mr. Hopkins.
Well, I want to thank everybody that showed up today, stuck it out through the whole meeting, and anybody that's watching us, and everybody that does their part to make this community run, everybody that steps up and does more than what they volunteered for. We'll be excited to see the new truck. I'm glad Tom finally got the snow thing figured out.
Is that it? Well, thank you. Mr. Truesdale.
It's a little late for me to give warm fuzzies. And as soon as Molly is done making her comments, I want to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, so I'll be brief.
So there.
Thank you to everyone who voted, regardless of how you voted. I appreciate that you showed up. Thank you to our city employees and everyone who does a wonderful job every day so we can have clean water. And when I call the cops or the fire department, they show up promptly. Thank you. I'm done.
thanks for all coming tonight also. My email has never worked. I give up trying to open it. And if I cut people off this evening, I'm sorry for that, but I felt we were going nowhere and we need to come back another day and address it. So
It's your job, Mr. Mayor.
thank you all for that. I was freezing in Florida last month while you were all basking in the sun. We were wearing hooded sweatshirts and it was cold. Thanks for the opportunity. I met the mayor of Fellsmere and the city manager of Fellsmere. It's a community our size, and they have the same problems we have. And with that, Mr. Truesdale,
Make a motion that we adjourn.
we stand adjourned.
All right.